The coffee shop hummed with afternoon chatter as Marcus settled into his chair across from the woman who had captured his attention through weeks of careful messages and hopeful anticipation. Her name was Jennifer, and she possessed the kind of quiet confidence that made people lean in closer when she spoke. She had auburn hair that caught the sunlight streaming through the windows and green eyes that seemed to hold secrets Marcus desperately wanted to understand. Their conversation had flowed easily for the first 20 minutes, covering safe topics like favorite books and weekend hobbies, and the peculiar weather patterns that had blessed their small town with unexpected warmth. Marcus found himself genuinely enchanted by her laugh and the way she thoughtfully considered each question before answering. Then Jennifer set down her cup with a deliberate precision that made Marcus suddenly aware that something significant was coming. She took a breath and met his eyes with an intensity that made his heart skip in a way that had nothing to do with romance. "I need to tell you something before we go any further," she said, and her voice carried a weight that silenced the casual atmosphere between them. Marcus nodded, trying to keep his expression open and encouraging despite the nervous flutter in his stomach. "I have a son." She continued, watching his face carefully for any flicker of reaction. "His name is Daniel, and he is 5 years old." The words hung in the air between them, and Marcus felt his mind go momentarily blank as he processed this unexpected revelation. He had not prepared himself for this particular turn in their first meeting. Jennifer continued speaking, filling the silence that Marcus had left open. "With his surprise, Daniel is everything to me," she explained, and her voice softened with unmistakable maternal devotion. "He loves dinosaurs and refuses to eat anything green unless I convince him it is what velociraptors would eat. And he has this laugh that makes everyone around him smile." Marcus watched as her entire demeanor transformed when she spoke about her child. The careful guardedness that had marked their earlier conversation melted away, revealing something raw and beautiful underneath. "His father is not in the picture," she added quickly, as if anticipating his unspoken question. "That ended badly, and it has been just Daniel and me for the past 3 years. I work as a nurse at the children's hospital, which is how I manage our schedule, and my mother helps with childcare when my shifts run long." Marcus realized he had been silent for too long, and Jennifer's confidence was beginning to waver. He could see the defensive walls starting to rebuild behind her eyes, preparing for rejection, or judgment, or the polite excuse that would end this before it truly began. "Wait," Marcus said, finally finding his voice. "Give me a moment to catch up, because you just handed me something important and I want to make sure I respond the right way." Jennifer blinked clearly, not expecting that particular reaction. "Most guys," she started, then stopped herself from finishing that sentence. "Most guys run." Marcus finished for her with a gentle smile. "I am not most guys, and you just told me the most important thing about yourself, which means you are taking this seriously." Jennifer's shoulders relaxed slightly, though suspicion still lingered in her expression. "You are not upset?" she asked. "Upset," Marcus repeated, considering the word. "Surprised, absolutely, but upset implies you did something wrong, and being a mother is not wrong. It is just reality, and reality is what we deal with." He leaned forward, resting his arms on the table between them. "Tell me more about Daniel," he requested. "What makes him laugh? Besides the obvious dinosaur references, and what does he want to be when he grows up?" Jennifer studied him for a long moment, as if trying to determine whether his interest was genuine or merely polite. Then something in her expression softened, and she began to speak. "Daniel wants to be an astronaut," she said, and a smile played at the corners of her mouth. "Not just any astronaut, but specifically the first person to live on Mars, because he thinks Martian rocks are cooler than Earth rocks, and he wants to collect them all." Marcus found himself grinning at the image. "That is a solid career goal," he observed. "Very specific and ambitious." Jennifer laughed, and it sounded different from her earlier laughter. This laugh carried relief and genuine happiness. "He has already planned out his entire Mars base." She continued, warming to the subject. "It has a special room just for his rock collection, and another room for his pet lizard. Even though I keep telling him we cannot even keep a goldfish alive for more than 3 months. Their conversation shifted, then flowing into stories about childhood dreams and parental challenges. and the unexpected ways life reshaped expectations. Marcus shared stories about his own upbringing and his work as a high school teacher, and his complete lack of experience with children outside the classroom setting. "I will be honest with you," Marcus admitted after Jennifer had shared a particularly funny story about Daniel's attempt to build a rocket from cardboard boxes. "I have never dated someone with a child before, and I do not know all the rules or expectations, but I am willing to learn. If you are willing to teach me." Jennifer's eyes glistened slightly, and she quickly blinked away the moisture. "That is more than most people offer," she said quietly. "Usually I get the speech about how complicated it would be or how they are not ready for that kind of responsibility." Marcus shrugged. "Life is complicated regardless," he pointed out, adding, "one small human who loves dinosaurs and wants to colonize Mars does not seem like the worst complication to navigate." They talked for another hour, until the coffee shop staff began giving them pointed looks about the approaching dinner rush. As they stood to leave, Marcus felt Jennifer's hand brush against his briefly and tentatively. "Thank you," she said simply. "For what?" Marcus asked. "For not running," Jennifer replied, "for asking about him, and for making me feel like being a mother does not make me less interesting or desirable." Marcus held her gaze steadily. "Being a mother makes you more interesting," he corrected gently. "It means you have managed to keep another human alive and reasonably happy for 5 years, which is considerably more impressive than anything I have accomplished." Jennifer laughed again, that new, genuine laugh that Marcus was quickly becoming addicted to hearing. They made plans for a second meeting, though both acknowledged it would need to be scheduled around Daniel's routine and Jennifer's nursing shifts. As Marcus walked to his car, he found himself already thinking about how to make a good impression on a 5-year-old obsessed with space exploration and prehistoric reptiles. The next few weeks unfolded in a careful dance of getting to know each other while respecting the boundaries that came with Jennifer's responsibilities. Their second date happened at a family-friendly restaurant where Marcus met Daniel for the first time and spent an hour listening to detailed explanations about the differences between various theropod species. Their third date was a trip to the Natural History Museum, where Daniel dragged them both through every exhibit while providing running commentary that combined factual information with creative interpretation. Marcus discovered that dating Jennifer meant entering a world where spontaneity took a backseat to careful planning, and where quiet moments were precious because they were rare. He also discovered that watching Jennifer interact with her son revealed dimensions of her personality that never would have emerged in traditional dating scenarios. She was patient beyond measure and fiercely protective and capable of finding joy in the smallest moments. Daniel gradually warmed to Marcus's presence, moving from polite tolerance to genuine enthusiasm, especially after Marcus helped him build an elaborate Mars base model for a school project. One evening, several months into their relationship, Marcus found himself sitting on Jennifer's couch while Daniel slept in the next room. Jennifer had curled up next to him and they were watching a movie with the volume low. "I was so scared that first day," Jennifer admitted quietly. "When I told you about Daniel, I was prepared for you to find some excuse to leave and never speak to me again." Marcus wrapped his arm around her shoulders. "I am glad you told me," he said, "and I am glad you gave me the chance to surprise you." Jennifer tilted her head up to look at him. "You have surprised me in a lot of ways," she said. "You have been patient and kind, and you genuinely care about Daniel, which means everything to me." Marcus kissed her forehead gently. "He is a good kid," he said, "and you are an amazing mother. And I feel lucky that you both let me into your lives." They sat in comfortable silence for a while before Jennifer spoke again. "Daniel asked me yesterday if you were going to be his new dad," she said, and Marcus felt his heart stutter. Marcus pulled back slightly to look at her face. "What did you tell him?" he asked. Jennifer smiled. "I told him that grown-up relationships are complicated and that we are taking things slowly, but that you care about both of us very much." She paused, then added, "He seemed satisfied with that answer, though he did mention that having a dad who knows about dinosaurs would be pretty cool." Marcus laughed softly. "I only know about dinosaurs because he taught me." He pointed out. Jennifer snuggled closer. "That is exactly why you would be good at it," she murmured as Marcus held her in the quiet evening. With the sounds of a sleeping child in the background, He realized that Jennifer's revelation on that first date had not been a complication or an obstacle. It had been an invitation into something real and meaningful and worth every moment of patience and understanding. He had not been expecting her truth that afternoon in the coffee shop, but now he could not imagine his life without it.